who ever chose me has always been a mystery. All my life I've been told I belong at the end of the line, with all the other not whites, with all the never get it right. But it turns out they're the ones you were looking for all this time. 'Cause I'm just a nobody, trying to tell everybody all about somebody who saved my soul. Ever since you rescued me, you gave my heart a song to sing. I'm living for the world to see. Nobody but Jesus. I'm living for the world to see. Nobody but Jesus. Moses had stage right, and David brought a rock to a sword fight. You picked 12 outsiders nobody would have chosen, and you changed the world. Well, the moral of the story is everybody's got a purpose. So when I hear that devil start talking to me, saying, who do you think you are? I say, I'm just a nobody, trying to tell everybody all about somebody who saved my soul. Ever since you rescued me, you gave my heart a song to sing. Living for the world to see. Nobody but Jesus. I'm living for the world to see. Nobody but Jesus.
So let me go down, down, down in history as another blood-bought, faithful member of the family. And if they all forget my name, well, that's fine.
Hello, Gilliganville family. I hope y'all are doing well and staying safe through this crazy pandemic. This is Garrett Sloan, the son of Matt and Christy Sloan and the brother of Gavin Sloan. I am currently a senior at Terrell Academy High School, and upon graduation, I plan on attending Mercer University on a baseball scholarship while majoring in pre-athletic training. If there's one thing that I've learned being in the GB Youth Ministry for the past 7 years, it is how to be a disciple of the Word of God and how to spread the Word without being embarrassed of it. I hope you are having a great day. God bless.
Hey, I'm Allie Eiler, and I'll be graduating from Deerfield, Windsor. I'm super passionate about anything theater related or fine arts related, and I'm planning to be super active in the theater program at the college I'm attending. I will be going to High Point University at High Point, North Carolina in the fall to get my bachelor's degree in journalism and possibly a minor in musical theater. My mom and dad, Karen and Aubrey, and then my two brothers, Kevin and Austin, who didn't want to be in this video, they've been super supportive throughout high school, and I am just so grateful for them. My biggest takeaway from GB Youth was, them teaching us that you should treat everywhere you go and live every day as if it is your mission field, and there's always a time to reach out to somebody and spread the gospel and spread the word, and we're called to love others the way Jesus has told us to love, and that has just always stuck with me and is something I will carry with me forever. And I am super grateful for the youth group. I couldn't have gotten through high school without the support and mentorship of everyone in the youth group, and so I'm just super thankful, and I love y'all.
Hi guys, I'm Sterling Kennedy, and I'm graduating from Southwest Georgia Homeschool Association, and this is my dog Rudy. Say hi! And I'm just passionate about loving and serving others, especially younger girls. I just love teaching them what it's like to live for the Lord and showing them the love of Jesus. These are my parents, Maggie and Jason. And I plan on attending Samford University in the fall to pursue a bachelor's degree in psychology. And hopefully I'll go on and get a master's degree in psychology as well. A big takeaway from GB Youth is just the value of service leadership and the importance of discipleship. They really instill that in us, and I think it's really important. And I just want to thank all of you for giving me an awesome high school experience. It wouldn't have been the same without y'all. Love you guys.
Hey church family, my name's Patrick Burke, and I'm going to be graduating from Sherwood Christian Academy. My parents are Dean and Lisa Burke, and my sister's Ashton Burke. Some of the things that I'm passionate about are Disney, Georgia football, and baseball. Where I'm going to be going to college is Emmanuel College. I'm going to be playing baseball for them, and I'm going to be majoring in Christian ministries and minoring in history, hoping one day to be a youth pastor and work my way up to be a senior pastor. One of the things that Gillingville has taught me is just how to fellowship and just how to plan for events such as lock-in, because I had the pleasure to help Pastor Brian, plan for a couple lock-ins, and that just really influenced my decision to go into youth ministry. I just want to thank Pastor Brian and Miss Amy for just supporting me throughout these years, and I can't wait to see what God does with this church. Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Jordan Griffin, and I'm graduating with the Southwest Georgia Homeschool Association.
I will be attending the College at Southeastern in Wake Forest, North Carolina this coming fall. To pursue a bachelor's degree in justice and social ethics, my parents are Ray and Lori Griffin. I have 2 younger brothers, Bo and Owen Griffin. I enjoy hanging out with friends, camping at the lake, and listening to music. I've had a blast all my years with GB Youth, where I developed a heart for the Lord and serving others. Thank you, GB Youth and Gideonville Baptist Church, for all the love and support.
Hi, my name is Taryn Harding and I'm graduating from Lee County High School. I'm going to Georgia Tech this fall to study biomedical engineering so I can work with prosthetics in the future. One of the things I'm most passionate about is music, as you can probably tell by seeing me help lead worship at church. So yeah, leading worship is probably my biggest takeaway from GB Youth. I really haven't done that before I came here. So I'm hoping to continue that in the future when I go off to Atlanta. And here is all my family.
Hey, we're the Hardings, and we are very proud of Taryn Grace as she graduates and gets ready to go off to Georgia Tech in the fall. Go Yellow Jackets!
Our city is beginning to wake up and open up for business. It kind of feels like we're emerging from a sort of hibernation. Stores are open, most businesses are. It looks like school will be back in the fall. Church gatherings are coming back, and baseball is coming back too. We've been cooped up for so long. We're just ready to get out of the house, and understandably so. But we need to see this moment for all that it can be. For many of us, it's a chance to reevaluate our priorities. We were busy before the coronavirus. We now have a chance to choose what goes back on our calendars. We can choose to invest our time rather than just spend it. I like the way Tim Elmore put it. The issue is not prioritizing your schedule. It is scheduling your priorities. Let's continue our study together of Luke chapter 12, and let's pick up where we left off last week in Luke chapter 12, verse 21. Jesus said, "So is the one who lays up treasure for himself and is not rich toward God." And he said to his disciples, "Therefore I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat, nor about your body, what you will put on. For life is more than food, and the body more than clothing. Consider the ravens. They neither sow nor reap, and they have neither storehouse nor barn, and yet God feeds them. Of how much more value are you than birds? And which of you, by being anxious, can add a single hour to the span of his life? If then you are not able to do as small a thing as that, why are you anxious about the rest? Consider the lilies, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin, yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass, which is alive in the field today and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O you of little faith? And do not seek what you are to eat and what you are to drink, nor be worried. For all the nations of the world seek after these things, and your Father knows that you need them. Instead, seek his kingdom, and these will be added to you. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give to the needy. Provide yourselves with money bags that do not grow old, with a treasure in the heavens that does not fail, where no thief approaches and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Last week we focused on the parable preceding this passage. In it, Jesus painted a portrait of a man so focused on his own pleasure and provision that he lost track of what was eternally important, and ultimately, he lost his own soul. The concluding words of that story in verse 21 and the last words of this section form bookends that help frame this passage. So is the one who lays up treasure for himself and is not rich toward God. For where your treasure is, there will be your heart also. I think this is the foundational idea at work in Jesus' teaching here. Since our hearts follow our treasure, we need to store up the right kind of treasure in the right place. But what does it look like to be rich toward God? My wife and I attended college together at a certain SEC powerhouse. So you can imagine that our closet from way back then to right now is filled with let's say the same shade of orange. But a funny thing happened last year. Our friends were horrified. Friends we went to college with and have known for years, they were flabbergasted that we were taking pictures and putting them on Facebook and Instagram of us wearing another school's colors. Why the switch? Well, it's because our little girl chose to go to college and she chose to go to a rival school. Now, you might think that caused a little bit of back and forth in our family, but it didn't. You see, the most precious thing in our lives made a choice and went to an institution to study. And since our hearts were going with her, we decided to change our wardrobe and now cheer for both schools. Where our treasure was, well, our hearts followed. So then, when we read about treasure in this passage, we should think about what is irreplaceable, what is of the most value to us, things that occupy your thoughts, your time, energy, love, money, those things that are most precious to you. And how we invest those most precious resources, well, it can cause a lot of worry. Jesus shifts focus to those worries in this passage. And he said to his disciples, "Therefore I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat, nor about your body, what you will put on. For life is more than food, and the body more than clothing." Actually, let's hit pause before we dive into this text. Most of our modern translations take the Greek word meronao and translate it as anxious. I'm choosing to use the word worry on purpose. That Greek word used in this passage refers to the everyday worry or concern that we all experience from time to time. It flows out of misplaced priorities and the belief that we, not God, are ultimately in control of our lives. It does not refer to anxiety in the clinical sense that we use the word today. Let me, as your pastor, encourage you to apply the truth of this passage for the worry we all experience. Jesus clearly has a better plan for us than that. But let me also encourage those listening who struggle with anxiety in the clinical sense to seek out the help and treatment that condition deserves. Your mental wellness is important, and it's not a lack of faith to seek medical help when we are sick and struggling. Okay, so one more time, let's look at verse 22 together. And he said to his disciples, "Therefore I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat, nor about your body, what you will put on, for life is more than food, and the body more than clothing." When we invest our treasure on temporary things, the result is always going to be more worry. Worry about the world will never draw us closer to God. Having our priorities set on the here and now just causes us to be more anxious about the here and now. Look at the next verse. And which one of you, by being anxious, can add a single hour to the span of his life? If then you are not able to do as small a thing as that, why are you anxious about the rest? The solution, the antidote for this kind of worry is focusing not on the things we want or even think we need, but focusing on the one who can ultimately provide for us. Look at what Jesus says in verse 27. Consider the lilies, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin, yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass which is alive in the field today and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O you of little faith? I love the faith over fear yard signs that have popped up all over our town. In verse 28, faith is a sort of antidote to fear. If we know God has concern for birds and flowers, we should have faith that we matter at least as much to Him as those. Pandemics have a way of reminding us how little control we actually have over the world around us. It's good to be reminded, too, that our provision is ultimately in His hands. Trusting God for our care removes worry about our provision. We can find peace of mind in that truth, rest for our worried minds. Another pastor I know put it really well. Faith in a God who never sleeps means that you can. There's another thought in this passage I don't want us to miss. If we invest our thoughts, time, energy, love, money, our treasure on temporary things, we aren't any different than the world around us, regardless of what we claim we believe about God. Jesus is clear in verses 29 through 31. And do not seek what you are to eat and what you are to drink, nor be worried. For all the nations of the world seek after these things, and your Father knows that you need them. Instead, seek His kingdom, and these things will be added to you. Having actual, active faith in God for everyday needs makes us different from everyone else, because worry about those things are the norm. We don't need to worry about the things everyone else does, because we trust God will supply. And this includes our daily bread, but it goes well beyond. So much of how we invest our treasure, our thoughts, time, energy, effort, money, is an attempt to meet felt and emotional needs. Things like our sense of identity, our worth, our need for love. So much of our busyness comes from a fear that these needs might go unmet. And the real tragedy isn't that pursuing those things makes us busy, but that we try to meet those needs by investing in things that never will. If we know, we really believe, that we find all of these things, the fulfillment of all of our needs, ultimately and only in God, then we have the freedom to not waste our treasure pursuing things that can never fulfill us. We are free to invest our most precious resources on the pursuit of the one who meets all our needs perfectly. Listen again to the words of Jesus. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give to the needy. Provide yourselves with money bags that do not grow old, with a treasure in the heavens that does not fail, where no thief approaches and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there will be your heart also. Church, we look forward to seeing you again next week as we conclude this series together. Know that you're loved and you're prayed for. Now let's go follow Jesus.
Who am I that the highest king I was lost, but he brought me. Know his love for me. Yes, his love for me. Who the sun sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. Who the sun sets free, oh, is free.